I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. Wink. It's coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. What's up? This is Jason. I am back in Charlotte, North Carolina, just for this little bit of time. Got to get a little work done on the molars. And getting back here and seeing a couple of the things that I actually kept 3 months ago whenever I sold my house, started driving across the country. I whittled down my life to a very small amount of things, but there are a few things that I kept. And one of those things got me thinking about how much it changed my life. And I didn't know that it was gonna change my life. Let me rewind a little bit. In case you haven't been keeping up, I never really traveled growing up. Honestly, I started to learn about travel when I was about 24, really started to learn about it when I was 28, and then finally decided to say, you know what? I'm gonna stop waiting for somebody to teach me how to do this. I'm gonna stop thinking that travel's too expensive, and I'm gonna finally start doing it. But that was only about 3 or 4 years ago. Totally had to make a mind shift between 3 or 4 years ago and today. And so a lot of moving parts, a lot of things have happened. But about 4 years ago, I bought something that absolutely changed my travel game. I didn't know that it was gonna do that at the time. I had no idea. I was just like, hey, I'm gonna buy this thing. It's gonna be cool, game over. This was back when I just bought things because they were cool, and I just buy things because they help me travel more. So here's the thing. You ever notice how, like when you look at Google Maps, you're like, hey, I wanna see Africa. Oh, there's Africa. That's pretty small. Thought it would be bigger. Well, let me just zoom in on it. Oh, there we go, zoom in. Okay, so there's Bagani. Seems like it's about the same size as Africa was a second ago. Huh. Okay, well there's Bwabwata National Park. It's about the same size as Bugani and about the same size as Africa. It's funny how that works. Let me just see. Well, there's Shenandoah National Park. So where is this? Virginia, and there's Virginia, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina. Okay, I got that. Here's the thing. I grew up on maps. Back when I was a kid, that was my pipe. I guess old people smoked pipes differently when I was a kid, I don't know. But here's the thing. I used to grow up looking at actual maps, like the kind you fold up. The first thing I did whenever I took off on this trip was bought a road atlas, so that I can flip through it and actually see where I'm going, look at the terrain, have some sense of scale. But here's the thing, not even this gives you the sense of scale of the United States or Mexico or Canada in relationship to the world. All right, long story longer. 3 or 4 years ago, I was living in my house and I was like, hey, that wall needs something. I've always wanted a big map. So what did I do? I went out and I bought a big map. Then I was like, hey map, you look pretty cool on that wall, you're missing something. Let me put some pins in you so that I know where I've been and I can start to think about where I might wanna go. So that's when this like $75 map started changing my life. And I didn't know it then. It took me a few years to realize it. But I put all the pins into it and I saw all the places that I had been. Spoiler alert, there were not many. So I got this little clump of pins on the United States and I had this one little lonely pin. One is the loneliest number. I sing better in the shower. So I have this one little lonely pin over in London and I'm like, I take a step back and I'm like, whoa. I started to realize how big the f***ing world is. You can't do that with this. You can barely do that with this or this. It wasn't until I got a map on the wall and I started walking by it every day and I started looking at these places and going, wait, what's this place? I've never heard of this place. Or started seeing the relationship of the size of the United States to North America or South America or Africa. I started to see those things and I started to really realize how big the world is and how small my mind is compared to that. I've spent 2.5 months driving across the national parks of the United States and I've seen about 10 national parks. Badlands, Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, Sequoia, Redwoods, Kings Canyon. And the thing that I keep realizing in every single one is they are so different. Now I understand it. You're like, well, Jason, that's kind of the point. I get it, but until you see it and you start understanding it, these are parks within our United States. These are parks generally in the west part of our United States, and they are so vastly different. Even just going from Yellowstone National Park to the Grand Tetons, they were just so different. So here's the thing. I don't really subscribe to the idea of buying presents. Presents? I still don't know how to use quotes. I don't really subscribe to the idea of buying presents anymore. I think that buying commercial things just to fill a space in time It's not for me anymore. It puts a little bit too much financial constraint on people that may not have the money to do those things just because of this social construct that we have of giving gifts. I'm much more all about giving something when you feel the time is right. You see something important, go for it. Or beer. Beer is always a good gift. It's a consumable. You buy local, helps the economy. I digress. But if you are going to buy someone a gift, it doesn't matter whether you're a child or you're in the middle of your life. If you don't have a map on the wall that can give you the scale of the world, you're missing something. You're missing some serious perspective. So I've been thinking about making this video for a long time because of how much this particular thing changed my life. It's one of the few things that I've kept. I will find a place for it one of these days on another wall whenever I settle into another place. But it has changed my life so much already, and I'm gonna continue to pull this out whenever I have the opportunity to, so that I can see the world on a world scale. Go to a store that actually has these things out on display. The Map Shop in Charlotte, North Carolina, I've been going there for 15 years. That's where I got quite a few of these things. Mad shout out, they've always treated me well. Check them out if you're in Charlotte. If you have a map on your wall, put it in the comments and tell me whether this has changed your perspective. If you buy a map, if you have a map, be like, hey, Sunday night, we're gonna spend 30 minutes finding a new place on that map and reading on Wikipedia or just looking up on the interwebs what that place is all about and learning a little thing. These are awesome things, and I just don't think that anybody quite gets it anymore when we have our eyes sunk in this device of infinite scale that doesn't allow us to understand the true scale of the world, how big it is, and how important it is for us to go figure out how to check it out and be more empathetic. All right. That's it. Again, let me know in the comments if you have a map like this on your wall, if it's added some change to your life, or if you tucked one away somewhere and you haven't looked at it, get that fucker back out and start looking at it and broaden your mind a little bit more. All right, I'm all jacked up on Mountain Dew. It's coffee. I drink a lot of coffee. I will catch you on the flip side. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for following along. Appreciate you. I'll check you later. Peace.